I didn't think we could fall in love. Broken from the start, chained to our past. We had closed hearts. We are breaking free. It's just you and me. We might fall apart while we're running away. Can we break free? Can we break free? Can we break free? Can we? They were blinded, tried to deny us. Didn't think we were following our hearts. We are breaking free. It's just you and me. We might fall apart. Now we're running away. We both. Can we break free? Can we break free? Can we break free? Can we?
Come lift your head up. The darkest light. Echoes of heaven are here tonight now. It's black on black, it's red on red, it's blue on blue for me and you. 'Cause when we
That always happens. That always happens. I always forget to unmute my mic. What's going on, everyone? DylanLasagna here. Another week, another DylanLasagna Live. And it's the Single Awareness Day edition of DylanLasagna Live. And it's Valentine's Day for many of you. I know there are many couples out there, many married couples with their fam, or just the two of them out there. Restaurants, movies, what have you. However you're spending your Valentine's Day. They're doing that thing, but for us single people, yes, there's Single Awareness Day. So for those of you that are single, ready to mingle, this is the place for you on another edition of DylanLasagna Live. So come on, ladies, where are you at? I'm kidding, I'm playing with you, but this is another edition of DylanLasagna Live. For the past couple weeks, news has been kind of there has been a lot to talk about in regards to news, and which kind of sucks, by the way. I mostly thrive on, of course, a variety of topics, but it's just like there's really not been too much to talk about. I mean, wrestling has been pretty interesting as of late, but that's mainly on the WWE side, from a few storylines, and All Elite Wrestling has completely lost my interest at this point, so it's just like I could care less. But on the bright side, WrestleMania 37 is coming back to the West Coast after 6 years on the East Coast. It's coming home. Not specifically to Northern California, though. I wish we would get another WrestleMania here. But it's coming to SoCal in LA, in the home of the LA Rams. I say that with such disappointment because, you know, the Rams are, of course, the rival team of the Niners. But it is coming to LA. I am hoping to fly out to LA next year. Hopefully not only with my friend Sam, who you see here on the channel, but with a couple of other friends too, for WrestleMania next year. But that's, gotta save up them ducats, gotta save up them monies. But hopefully that can become a reality. As for today, we got a few things to talk about on this edition of Dylan Lasagna Live. There's this interesting thing regarding the Bella twins being in the Hall of Fame, possibly, and with so little news being out there in the world, aside from, of course, the election season, which as much as many people talk about it, I prefer myself not to delve into that kind of stuff. I just try to do that privately on my own time. But anyway, there's just so little news, especially with what's coming out this year with video games, that people are so thirsty. They're like grabbing their water and they're going like, oh. I need some news. We need some news. We need news, not nudes. We like, yeah, it's been a shitstorm these past couple of weeks because people have been like begging and pleading Nintendo for a Nintendo Direct. Can you guys hear me okay? Maybe I should like turn up the like, there we go. There, all right. But yeah, people have been begging and pleading and spamming Nintendo's Twitter for a Nintendo Direct, and I'm just like, guys, come on, chill now. But we're gonna get into that in like later in this episode of Dylan Lasagna Live. But first, as always, we gotta get into the random tidbit of the week, and this one actually came in a couple of hours ago. This one came in a couple of hours ago with the news of Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. If you don't recall, this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, kart racer ever now. I never grew up with Crash Team Racing because I obviously didn't get it when I was younger. I always played Mario Kart, and it's like I never got to experience CTR. And once I got CTR, it's just like I could never go back to Mario Kart. And every time we did go back to Mario Kart, especially when it came to family parties, I was completely ass at it. So what this has to do with today's random tidbit is that Activision and Beanox announced today that after the Rustland Grand Prix, which was the most recent one that's going on right now, that's going to end this weekend. After this weekend, the upcoming Grand Prix is going to be the very last Grand Prix for Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Yeah, you heard me right. It's going to be the last Grand Prix ever for CTR. Some of you were happy with it, some of you were sad with it. I'm kind of in the middle of it. I'll explain why after I like detail this like little blog post that Activision put out there. So obviously they've been doing Grand Prix since the game's release. Like they started when I got the game, like a week or two after Crash Team Racing came out. So obviously they put out a shit ton of content, which by the way, Beanox needs a vacation. but I don't know if they will, because I bet half of the team's probably gonna be working on the next Call of Duty. But I digress. So over the course of 8 months, they provide this little infograph here. Let me see if I can go with it. Here we go. So you got this infograph here of what exactly was released throughout the Grand Prix. You got over 300 character skins, which is insane. And giving some love to my girl Izzy. You got 40 cart bodies. You got 40 tracks. 51 characters to play from, and 760 wait, what? 760 million cart combinations. That's insane. I did not know there was that many. I know there were like all these paints, decals, cards, but 760 is insane. 760 million, mind you. That's insane. That's pretty insane. So obviously I've been covering the Grand Prix since the spooky Grand Prix back in October. At that time I didn't do the face cam thing. That was during the Winter Wonderland Grand Prix. That's when I started doing these face cam Grand Prix live streams. But I mean, it was still fun to do the Grand Prix nonetheless for you all. So obviously they added the characters, they added the skins, and they added some really good tracks here. Obviously there are some downers here and there, but they go into detail of what's next. So here is what's next. You got a challenge system. Now this is what's going to be added after the Grand Prix are all said and done with. So here's how it goes pretty much. So it's gonna work the same way as the challenge system you see in the Grand Prix, except it's gonna be broken down into 3 categories instead of 5. So it's daily, weekly, and monthly challenges. And instead of earning nitro points, you get Wumpa coins. And this sounds like a good idea on paper, but when you execute it, we're gonna have to wait and see how it works, because I'm not sure how many Wumpa coins they're gonna give out. But this challenge system is a good way for players to get some Wumpa coins at least. And then in regards to the pit stop, obviously they're gonna feature items from each Grand Prix season, since after that there's gonna be no more. And then players will be able to view a variety of items by refreshing the pit stop screen up to 2 times a day. To give them more daily options to choose from when customizing the CTR Nitro Fueled experience. I honestly would have preferred the pit stop to be categorized, you know, like actually being like an actual shop, like have us pick you know, have like all the available like options, like carts, wheels, skins that are available in the game. Let us pick like what we want in there. I mean, some of us may not have unlocked it yet, but in all honesty, it would be better that way rather than having to refresh it. But it is what it is. This is another interesting feature. New time trials. Now it's going to be much harder time trials, because Oxide time trials were a big pain in the ass. But now Beanox, the developers of the game, have pretty much like upped the ante. They pretty much wanted to say, hey, can you try to kick our butts? When you want to try to beat our ghost times? Now you can, and you can even like earn a prize, but we don't know what that prize is, so we're gonna have to wait and see if it's worth beating it. And they go on to say it's gonna be a much more challenging prospect than Oxide. So we'll see how that is after the final Grand Prix. And this is the most interesting thing that people have on their mind is even though the Grand Prix is ending, we are still gonna get new characters, new carts, new legendary skins, recolors of current legendary skins, decals, and paint jobs. And that's pretty interesting, you know. It's like I'm not too familiar with the rest of the Crash Bandicoot lore. Again, my only familiar games are the 3 original Crash Bandicoot games, Crash Bash, a little bit of Twin Sanity, but that's pretty much it. So I'm just wondering what else could they possibly who else could they possibly add? Now obviously I couldn't see them going further, like after, let's say, a year after their CTR released. I honestly thought the Grand Prix were gonna last until at least a year after the game released, but apparently they're ending it early. But obviously it's like, what more can you do with the Grand Prix? I mean, certainly you can add characters, certainly you could create as many themes as you possibly can, but it's just like, honestly, the challenges, as I kept mentioning, the challenges were so repetitive, and it's just like, it kind of felt like a massive grind over the past 8 months that I wasn't really able to like complete much games or play much games other than San Andreas, like the game you're seeing me play right now on the channel. But yeah, it's like this is the end for Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel. I'm not saying it's a bad end, obviously, but it's just like, it's not gonna get the like the seasons anymore, like the Grand Prix seasons. I mean, it looks like it's still gonna have a bright future ahead of it, because it's gonna get all the content. It's gonna get all this content going forward. It's gonna get this challenge system. It's gonna get the time trials. It's gonna get new characters, cards, and all this stuff. And Glenn. But yeah, I think like this game will still be supported like for, I think it should still be supported a good 2 years. Not 2 years, maybe another year or two, as long as there's like characters and like things to add in the game. But I'm thinking that content won't be added as like monthly as it is now. What's going on, Gucci? Oh, did you change your name, noob? Did you change your username? You went from a noob Gucci to a Gucci Gooch. All right, I see. All right. By the way, noob, or the form Gucci Gooch. Man, I'm still used to calling you noob, man. Noob Gucci Gooch is the first ever moderator for my channel. It's like I'm entrusting him to moderate the chat. He's my very first mod. He's my very first mod on the channel. Obviously, mods have a very big responsibility than live viewers. Newbie King Gooch. Oh, I didn't know you could change your names like that many times. Normally, there's a limit to how many times you can change your username on YouTube. But anyway, obviously, as I was saying, it's like, congratulations to Newbie King Gooch for becoming the very first channel moderator on my channel. Again, obviously, there's a lot of responsibility carrying on to him now. Like, chat rules remain the same for him, except now he has a lot more responsibilities holding on to abide, not only just by abiding by the chat rules, but making sure those chat rules remain in effect and not like abusing his authority as a moderator. So obviously I'll still be checking on the chat, but newbie King Gooch is gonna help me moderate things and keep things like more free, more flowing during my live streams. But congratulations to newbie King Gucci for becoming my first ever moderator. And as with the CTR Nitro Fuel Grand Prix, I'm surely gonna miss them. I'm surely gonna miss them happening. At the same time, I think obviously it's time for me to play other games as well, because honestly, this actually was the only game that I bought in the second half of 2019, and that was the only game I played for the rest of 2019. And I have a bunch of other games now in my backlog, and now that the Grand Prix is about to end, or like the last Grand Prix is here, and it's gonna, once it ends, I'm surely gonna move on to other games. But obviously I'm gonna check out what CTR has to offer. But it's just like, if there's like an update to the game, then we'll see what happens. Who's at the door? Sorry guys, sorry, there's some random ass solicitor that rang the doorbell. That happens every once in a while. It's like some random person in my neighborhood like goes, rings the doorbell, and it's just like, really, mate? Really? Yeah. Like, I don't know who you are. And it's just like, oh, you're just like curious to see like what the hell I'm doing. Some people, you know. But anyway, let's move on to some of our main topics here. We got two of them today. If you want to go check out the blog post from Crash Team Racing, I'll link it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat. There we go. All right. Now, one of the topics that were, oh shit. All right. one of the topics that came up throughout the week was the Bell twins of WWE fame going into the Hall of Fame, possibly. Now, it's not confirmed yet. It's not confirmed that they're going to be in the Hall of Fame. They're not going to be that they're going to be inducted this year. But it was discussed and trending on Twitter about the Bell twins possibly being in the Hall of Fame. That's because WrestleVotes on Twitter, he's like he's a wrestling insider on Twitter. Yes, I said insider. That means rumors, leaks, and all that stuff. I know I normally don't like to talk about leaks and rumors, but at this point it's wrestling, and what else can I lose it? But anyway, he does have a good track record of his wrestling leaks. But anyway, he mentioned about the Bella twins being one of the possible inductees of the WWE Hall of Fame for this year's class, as well as Justin Thunder Liger. Justin Thunder Liger. I don't know too well about Justin Thunder Liger, but I know he's been a pretty legendary wrestler. People were saying he wrestled one match in WWE, and he was a pretty big influence on many WWE wrestlers. So, I mean, if they want to induct him, then sure, why not? If he's that legendary. But as for the Bella twins, I mean, people were kind of debating over the fact that they don't deserve it. They only get the rub because they slept with two of the biggest names in the industry. They only get in because of their looks and all that. Well, I had some time to think about this. Obviously, this is just speculation. It's not confirmed yet, but who knows? Anything can happen, you know? Anything can happen. So let's kind of take a look at the Bell twins from a career perspective. What exactly did they do that could make a case for them to get into the Hall of Fame? So they debuted in 2008. Brie debuted first. A couple weeks after Nikki Bella debuted, because Brie was using twin magic at the time. So she was switching places with Nikki. And then once the jig was up, Nikki was revealed, and then the twins were out on TV together. And then after they had their first feud with Natalia and Victoria, they weren't really doing much for the better part of, I'd say, a year. And then it was only around 2011 that they really started doing something. They won the Divas Championship once apiece. They held it for like a good month or two. Both of them held it for a good month. But at the same time, is like they didn't really do much in their first run in WWE. Other than having a storyline with Daniel Bryan, who didn't even hit his peak yet. He was still the United States champion back in 2010, and he was involved with the Bella twins. So they leave WWE for a year in 2012, and they come back in 2013. They come up with the concept of Total Divas, and so they jumpstart that. And I'm still surprised it's running today. They're not on the show anymore, but they're still, I mean, they're not like cast members of the show, but they're still like executive producers along with Ronda Rousey. So they're currently executive producers of Total Divas, and they're honestly have their own show, Total Bellas. So they come back in 2013. They start wearing different outfits to have people differentiate from who's Brie and who's Nikki. But I'm sorry, I gotta say, we already know which one is who, because you know who. I just had to point it out. I just had to point it out. But anyway, so they get pipe bombed by AJ Lee. The twins feuded with AJ because of Total Diva stuff. The Total Divas beat AJ's team at Survivor Series. They didn't do much after that. They tried to get the Divas Championship at Mania 30, but obviously AJ Lee won. Yeah, AJ Lee's probably gonna be a revolving theme around the Bellas because of why isn't AJ Lee being inducted into the Hall of Fame and the Bellas might be. Well, we'll get into that in a second. So a couple months into late in 2014, the Bellas have their own storyline where Nikki turned on Brie at SummerSlam. They feud with each other for a couple months. Yeah, we all know how that went. They pretty much scrap it at Survivor Series 2014 because Brie helps her. Brie helps Nikki defeat AJ, which jumpstarts Nikki's reign as the longest reigning Divas champion. Which, by the way, at the time when Nikki Bella broke AJ Lee's record as the longest reigning Divas champion, I honestly thought in 2015 WWE was doing that to spite CM Punk, because CM Punk was still on bad terms with WWE, and they want to do, like, AJ Lee was obviously didn't want to get caught in the middle with that whole thing, but you know how WWE is trying to be petty, but I digress. So while the Bellas were in the middle of Nikki's longest reign Divas Championship reign, they were, I don't know, they were part of the 30-second match on the Raw after Fastlane with Paige and Emma, which apparently they orchestrated. Did they really orchestrate that match? Did they purposely screw creative? They were supposed to be given 2 minutes in that match, but purposely went on for 30 seconds to prove a point, and that the men were given much more screen time than the women were. So the women obviously rightfully were wanting to get more screen time, equal screen time than the men, and more story development, because Vince wouldn't get his head out of his ass. AJ also voiced her displeasure with the way the women's division was being run. At this time, it was still the Divas division. The movement, which would become the Gives Divas a Chance movement, it would work for like, I'd say 2 months. Vince would go back to his thing, obviously, and give them 2-minute matches again. So it was after Mania 31. Paige was knocked out of storylines due to a storyline injury. And then AJ retired. The Bellas are like in the tweener role. And it was in the summer that 3 of the 4 horsewomen debuted. Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha Banks made their debuts on Raw during that summer. And then Nikki, after surpassing AJ for the longest reign, Divas Championship reign, we could get into that. We're gonna get into that. She lost the title to Charlotte at the 2015 Night of Champions, but they really never recovered from that. The Bellas never recovered from that because Nikki Bella was off TV battling neck injuries. She even had neck surgery, which didn't allow her to compete at WrestleMania, 32, but she was there anyway. Brie was still there. in tag team matches, and then she had a Total Diva storyline with Lana, and then after Mania 32, she took a break. Yeah, she took a break to start a family with Daniel Bryan. But then after the 2016 WWE draft, Nikki Bella came back to have a feud with Carmella, and then she had a feud with Maurice and The Miz, teaming with John Cena. Oh my god. And then she had the epic marriage proposal fail with Cena at Mania 33. Oh my god. Just looking back at it, it could have been one of the best WrestleMania moments for both John Cena and Nikki Bella, as well as the WWE. But a year later, they called off their relationship. I don't know who got cold feet. I really don't. But I mean, Nikki's happy with their current her current soon-to-be husband. John Cena's happy with his life. But I don't know. It's like as if that WrestleMania 33 moment never happened. And then obviously the last wrestling moment with the Bellas was when they came back in 2018. They feuded with Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's title. They had the main event match at Evolution. But it was just during this time that the Bellas couldn't keep up with anyone anymore. Brie just had too much time off from being a mom. Nikki, we just didn't know how long he could last with all the neck injuries. And then it was in 2019 that they announced their retirements on 2 separate episodes of Total Bellas. So to answer your question, newbie King Gooch, how could the Bellas get into the Hall of Fame? That's an interesting question, because considering that women like Michelle McCool, Gail Kim, Melina, and especially AJ Lee and Paige were key contributors in the women's evolution, especially AJ Lee and Paige and Emma of all women. They were 3 key contributors in jumpstarting the women's evolution. Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, and Bayley were the ones to continue it as well. But in all honesty, the Bella Twins helped. They were overexposed too, but at the same time, in 2015, they helped put over Charlotte. They helped put over the next generation of women who would help put the women's division where it is today. They sacrificed their own egos to make the women's division where it is today. Now, surely, obviously, as I said before, it's like they don't, like, there could be a case made that, oh, they don't deserve to get in because they're just models. They can't wrestle. They're only getting in because they slept with the most well-known guys in the industry. How are they getting in? Because, yeah, how are they getting in before Christian? Speaking of Christian, I still think Christian can go one more match. It's just that I think WWE doesn't want to deal with the concussions Christian has had in the 2-year span when he was forced to retire in 2014. But I think Christian keeps rejecting Hall of Fame like inductions because he wants to have one more match. But anyway, back to the Bellas. It can certainly be agreed they didn't have great matches. They weren't the best promos. They didn't have the best promos. They were in a lot of particularly bad feuds. But in all honesty, it was it was their way of expanding their brand, and it was their way of just honestly, if they didn't put their ego aside or didn't do anything in 2015, like to jumpstart the Give Divas a Chance thing, to cooperate or to like come together with Paige and Emma to jumpstart the Give Divas a Chance movement, which honestly really get things going for the women's evolution. Sure, you could say, oh, that NXT Arrival match with Paige and Emma, or the NXT Takeover match, the very first NXT Takeover match between Charlotte and Natalya, or the matches like the 2014 match with the Four Horsewomen. Surely those could be made a case of, oh, that's the start of the women's evolution, or AJ Lee doing the pipe bomb. But it's just like the Bellas just played one of the key roles in jumpstarting the women's evolution, and going back to expanding their brand. Look at what they're doing now. It's like you don't see like a lot of women's wrestlers like as successful as the Bella Twins when they're done with their careers. I mean, obviously Beth Phoenix is currently commentating for NXT. AJ Lee's published a memoir and is doing public appearances still. I mean, but of course the Bellas got they've done so much to expand their brand. Now obviously I'm not trying to defend or dick suck on the Bellas, but I'm just trying to say they've done plenty. Like they've done so much prep in the event that they retired. They got lifestyle, they got some clothing and wine brands that they appeared on late night talk shows more than, let's say, Becky Lynch. They got 2 reality shows. I think they're executively producing both of them. And they even got a YouTube channel with over 100. Are they at 1 million? Are they at 1 million subscribers now? You see it. Channel, dude.
Where's the truck?
They got 2.6 million subscribers, so they surpassed 1 million subscribers. So that's not bad for them. That's really not that bad for them. They made like a successful brand for themselves. So obviously they prepared themselves well in the event that their wrestling career was over. I mean, their wrestling career is over now, but they've got a backup. They clearly got their backup plan in place. And wrestling career wise, obviously they don't have as much accomplishments as they would have liked. I mean, Nikki Bella is the longest reigning Divas champion in history, WWE history. I mean, but aside from that, they could have done a lot more had WWE gave them the chance. But yeah, in regards to like what do you mean by some WWE moves, newbie? But I think they have a decent enough case to be in the Hall of Fame. I think. I just don't think. Here's the thing. I don't think they should be inducted this year. This year shouldn't be the year they be inducted into the Hall of Fame. They do deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, but not this year. Not just not this year. I think the best case for them to be in the Hall of Fame would be either next year, because I think next year would be the best case for them because they're in Hollywood. I mean, they're mostly in Hollywood. That would be the best setting for them. Or I say 2 years down the road. But yeah, I think they'd be a fine addition to the Hall of Fame, I mean, besides, it's like WWE adds random people to the Hall of Fame anyway in the first place. I mean, WWE move time? What do you mean for that? What do you mean by that? But I'll answer that call after. Hold on. But I still think they should go in regardless. I mean, even if they get in this year, it's fine. I just think it's too early. That's my opinion. But they deserve a spot. They deserve a spot. All right, hold on. Hello? Yeah? Um okay. All right, so let's move on to our last topic here. I talked about the Bells enough. Again, we don't know if they're going to be officially inducted to the Hall of Fame this year, but again, I think they're deserving of a spot. But my opinion, this year's not the year. This year is just not the year. So, if you're all thirsty for some news, if y'all thirsty, get your water bottles, drink it up like this. Oh. Because people are thirsty. People are freaking thirsty for a freaking Nintendo Direct. I can only imagine what both Nintendo fans and Nintendo fanboys. Yes, there's a difference between the two terms. Fans are just like chill, relaxed people that are playing their games right now, and then there are fanboys that are going out there harassing Nintendo for the Direct. I can only imagine what they're doing right now. It's already mid. Here, let me speak on that. It's already mid-February, and there's no sign of a general Nintendo Direct, and people were expecting one back in January, but instead we got a Smash and Pokemon Direct. Now people are expecting one this month, but it's gonna be a proper Nintendo Direct. So obviously myself, I'm disappointed as well, because outside of Animal Crossing, a game that's still lacking in information, because that game comes out in a month, in March, which is a month from now. And then you got Pokemon Mystery Dungeons, which comes out a week or two before Animal Crossing. And then you got Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which doesn't have a release date, but it's releasing this year. So outside of those three games, along with some small third-party titles and indie games, we don't know what's coming from Nintendo. We really don't. I mean, the case can be also be made from PlayStation and Xbox that they don't got anything. All PlayStation got is Last of Us Part 2, and or all Microsoft got is Halo, the new Halo game. But people can give PlayStation Microsoft passes because they're preparing for next gen. They're preparing their new consoles. They're preparing the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. What's Nintendo doing? They still got the Switch. It's still brand new. It's still brand spanking new. They even released a light version of the Switch. And 2020, like until at least the holidays, should be their time to attack. To attack each and every month with a new game release. And so far, all we got in March is Animal Crossing. We didn't get anything in January or this month. So I do understand the disappointment that everyone is feeling right now. But at the same time, it's just like when we get to the people, they're thirsty. They're thirsty. Again, they're like, oh, I need to clear my throat. It's like they're so thirsty. I know they're so thirsty that they're believing in leaks, they're believing in rumors, they're spamming Nintendo's non-direct related posts. Speaking of leaks and rumors, they're gullible and trapping themselves by listening to the leaks of a guy named Zippo, who this other leaker named Sabby claims to be as credible. Bullshit. It's like, you could call them credible all you want. You could even call Sabby credible all you want. But at the end of the day, it's just like, if a direct comes out, it comes out of Nintendo's ass. So you'll believe it when you see it. And then you also have people, again, as I mentioned before, you got Nintendo putting out like announcements about the Fire Emblem DLC or some other random game, and people are spamming the comments of these tweets from Nintendo about, no, I will not chill. Where's the direct? It's like, people, chill the frick out. It's like we don't even know what Nintendo has planned for this year. I guess that's why we don't have a direct, and that's why that's the disappointment we're feeling right now, which is maybe Nintendo has nothing. Maybe they don't have anything for this year, which is bad for not just for us but for shareholders. But if you keep harassing Nintendo about the lack of a direct, it's just like, you get the direct, and then once you see that it's just a bunch of mobile anime, it's just a bunch of mobile phone games and a bunch of weeboo anime JRPG games, like, you're just gonna go harass Nintendo again for not having X game or Y game at the direct. It's just like, people, go do something with your life. Go do something. I understand we're all thirsty for this Nintendo Direct. We all want this Nintendo Direct. I do too. But I came to the realization, I got a slap in the face just watching all these tweets, all this harassment that some people are doing towards Nintendo because of the lack of direct, which, by the way, I think is the longest route for a direct. What was it, 160 plus days now? It's just like, guys, finish your backlog of games. Go outside, Go outside, play some basketball, or like go throw a football, or go for a hike. Nintendo probably doesn't have anything to show yet. It's like, it sucks, but we just have to accept that reality. It's bad on both our part and Nintendo's part, because they're a business and they should show something that, and it's not good on their side because they might lose money for not showing new stuff. But at the end of the day, it's their business model. They're like Vince McMahon when he's too stubborn to change a storyline, when he's too stubborn to stop pushing Charlotte Flair. But hopefully this Nintendo Direct comes out eventually when it's ready. Just stop harassing Nintendo about it, please. Plus, there's this coronavirus thing that's going on in Japan and China right now, and many people's lives are at stake, and that might be affecting the release of the Direct, or even the pre-production and the recording of the Direct. So it's just like, maybe this coronavirus infection is preventing the Direct from being released. It's like, it's understandable, completely understandable, because it's just like too many lives are at stake. Like, do you really want to like put that aside over a video game presentation? Just for a video game presentation? I think not. The lives of many people are more important than just one video game presentation. But just stop harassing Nintendo, for all you thirsty Nintendo Direct demanders. Just be patient. Be patient. I'm just as impatient as you, most of you are, but we just gotta have faith. We just gotta wait it out. We gotta wait it out. I know there's not much to look forward to after Animal Crossing, but we just got to wait and see. We can't do anything about this lack of Direct. Complaining won't do anything. Just look at what WWE's doing with Charlotte Flair right now. But at the end of the day, gotta wait. Just gotta wait for the Nintendo Direct. It may come next week. It may come in 2 weeks. Hell, it may come in March, or maybe not until E3. But just gotta wait. Gotta wait. But Newbie King Gooch really wants me to talk about Ricochet versus Bobby Lashley. Why? I mean, look, I love you, Newbie, but it's like, I had no interest. Okay, I'll talk about it. Here's what I thought about it. I thought that match had no interest for me, because it didn't do anything. It didn't make me feel inspired that Ricochet has a chance to beat Brock Lesnar. If Brock Lesnar had come out and try to F5 Ricochet, but Ricochet fended him off, then that would have made sense. But Ricochet beat Bobby Lashley. A lot of people beat Bobby Lashley these days, so it's like, sorry, man. It's like, I didn't really care for Ricochet versus Bobby Lashley on Raw. But that's gonna be it for this episode of Dylan Lasagna Live. Let me know how you all thought about these topics, whether you're watching in the chat or watching the replay in the comments below. So thank you all for joining me. If you liked this episode of Dylan Lasagna Live, you already know what to do. Give that thumbs up. Spam that thumbs up button. If you didn't, you can also leave a dislike. Always leave your comments. They always help me improve the show. If you aren't already, subscribe tap that notification bell so you know when Dylan Lasagna Live goes up, as well as my live streams. I've been loving doing these. I really like doing these live streams of late, especially the San Andreas ones. And what else? Yeah, I just really love doing the San Andreas ones. Those are always fun to do. So hopefully I get to do another San Andreas one tonight, maybe like another late night San Andreas stream, and it's gonna be a really interesting one considering that it's Single Awareness Day, and we gotta get CJ the girls, man. We gotta get CJ back with the girls. We gotta get CJ the you know them homies. We gotta get them chicks. But yeah, we're gonna might go take CJ on some date nights because CJ is single. CJ is single. But we'll try to do a GTA San Andreas stream tonight. Because there's still a lot to do in that game. Hopefully I don't go past 2 o'clock in the morning, because it's just gonna kill me. But anyway, thank you all for joining me for this episode of Dylan Lasagna Live. And like always be delicious. And I'll see you all next time. Take care, everyone. Have a good night.